Hi guys, welcome back to Sociology Help for You. Today this is OCR A-Level Sociology Paper 1 Section A, and we'll be doing types of culture as well as cultural diversity and cultural hybridity. So types of culture, that's quite a lot. You have high culture, which is like the activities consumed by like the upper classes. For example, going to the opera, watching ballet and listening to classical music. For low culture, which is also known as popular culture, is the activities consumed by the majority of the people, majority of society, like watching TV or going to the cinema. Bourdieu spoke about both of these types of culture. He's a Marxist, and he said that popular culture is made by the bourgeoisie, essentially the top people in society, which is used to dumb down the masses. He also said that the distinction between high culture and low culture lies in the power of the groups who support and access them. So essentially, the bourgeoisie, the top people in society, they use this popular culture to essentially remain in control and make sure that no one from the rest of society is able to advance. Consumer culture, this is essentially now where there's now an emphasis on purchasing consumer goods and excessive consumption and debts that come with it. That's seen as normal. Also, people now think that through consumption, identity is now formed, so it now obviously create identity, which is known as conspicuous consumption. And consumer culture is advertised and supported by the media, who like constantly promote it like, you should get this is new, or you should check out this is super exciting, or whatever. And shopping has now become a major leisure activity. Global culture, where brands, food, films and products are now essentially available globally, despite only previously being found like a specific culture, they're now across the world. Examples like Coca-Cola, McDonald's, Google, Apple and Microsoft. McLuhan would argue, adding on to globalization, that we now live in a global village because the world has now become a smaller place, with everything essentially being accessible globally, like these sort of cultures. And Ritz and McDonaldization, sort of a similar thing, but they use the example of McDonald's and how there's now essentially a McDonald's in every single culture, and how the world as a result now is homogenized, so everything's exactly the same. And you also have subcultures, which are cultures within the cultures, but they do have very different norms and values to the rest of society usually, like skinheads, teddy boys, mods and rockers. Cultural diversity. These are differences and variety found in a society, and you have two types, so that there can be diversity between cultures, which is intercultural diversity, and within cultures, which is intracultural diversity. So intercultural diversity is like the difference between British and Asian culture. So say you're talking about food, you've got like a chicken tikka masala as part of Asian culture, and you've got bangers and mash or sausage and mash in British culture. And you could also talk about like the perception of things. So say there's something in the UK which you perceive to be normal, could be offensive in other cultures, like in Dubai, public displays of affection are banned, whereas that could be seen as relatively normal to happen in the UK. And rather than comparing the differences between cultures, like, or this culture is better because they have this, and that's just so much better than having that, they compare it like the differences that the different cultures have, rather than saying this one's better, this one's better. And then you also have intracultural diversity, which is diversity within cultures. So obviously, as Britain, obviously there's different diversity, like you have regional differences, so you've got north versus south, essentially. Class differences, you got upper class versus working class, and ethnic differences. And then you could also talk about the difference in culture as Great Britain, essentially. So you have difference in culture in England, and then Scotland, and Wales, Northern Ireland, and that. So despite sharing one British culture, there's still diversity within each. And then, I mean, essentially you could go even further and so that there's diversity like within England in like certain parts or whatever. Cultural hybridity. This is now a cross between, or like this is like a merging of two or more cultures. So like British culture is hybrid from English culture, Welsh culture, Scottish culture, Northern Irish culture, as I spoke about. But you could also say there's influences from Asia, the Caribbean, and Africa as a result of immigration. So people moving into Great Britain and essentially bringing their like traditions along with them. This as a result creates hybrid identities, as people tend to mix aspects of their parents' culture or even their culture. So we look at Brasians, which are like British Asians, who may still listen to like Bhangra music and wear henna tattoos, while involving themselves in like British culture. Nyack studied cultural hybridity, and he studied a group who he called the White Wannabes, who were white British males who dressed, acted, and were influenced by black hip hop culture. And you could talk about Ali G, the parody played by Sacha Baron Cohen. That's going to be it for this video. I'm pretty sure that is culture entirely done. I think. I hope. I don't know. But after I've done that, I'm going to go through all of socialization and identity. So I'm just trying to essentially get all the paper 1 done, then all the paper 2, then all paper 3. Because by that time I should have all the content of paper 3 done. So that should help. Okay, so thank you guys. I'll see you in the next video.